Hey, enjoying this chapter on quadrilaterals? Great. It's been a journey full of learnings, hasn't it? We started with quadrilaterals, recapitulated their different types, discussed a special type called parallelogram in great detail, and then went on to solve problems based on its properties and some conditions. Each passing video showed us how vital a role some properties of triangles play in understanding parallelograms. And this video is no different. Actually, to think of it, it is a little different because we'll be discussing a completely new property of triangles and seeing how it applies to parallelograms. Wondering which property it is? Let's begin today's session to find out. Well, the property that we are discussing today revolves around the midpoints of the sides of triangles. So let's take a triangle, say ABC, and mark the midpoints of its sides as X, Y, and Z. Now, what would we get if we join these midpoints using line segments? No points for guessing. We would of course get a triangle, namely XYZ. Now, observe this triangle carefully. Anything special that you see? Seems pretty ordinary, doesn't it? Well, that's the secret of things that are special. Oftentimes, they are hidden in the most ordinary of things. To discover them, all we need is a little change in perspective. So, if you just flip XYZ upside down, you will see that these two appear to be similar triangles. Anyway, a very interesting property of this inscribed triangle XYZ is that each of its sides is actually parallel to a side of the parent triangle ABC. Like this side XY is parallel to BC. Similarly, YZ is parallel to AB and XZ is parallel to AC. Didn't see that coming, did you? Well, there's more. If you take a ruler and measure the lengths of any one pair of the parallel lines, say XY and BC, you will see that XY measures exactly half of BC. Similarly, YZ measures exactly half of AB and XZ measures exactly half of AC. This makes it evident that XYZ and ABC are indeed similar triangles. Quite special, isn't it? So basically, XY, which is the line segment joining the midpoints of these two sides of triangle ABC, is parallel to and half of BC, which, if you see, is the third side of triangle ABC. Similarly, YZ, which is the line segment joining the midpoints of these two sides of the triangle ABC, is parallel to and half of the third side AB. In the same way, XZ is parallel to and half of the third side AC. So, this brings us to the conclusion that in this triangle ABC, the line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides is parallel to and half of the third side. Could this conclusion be a coincidence? Well, you can take a triangle of any type, join the midpoints of any two of its sides, and then compare that line segment with the third side. Each time you will arrive at the same conclusion. That is, the line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides of a triangle is parallel to and also half of the third side. So now we can confidently say that this is not a coincidence or a conclusion that is exclusive only to this triangle ABC. There is actually a property that applies to all triangles. It is stated in the form of a theorem as the line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half the length of the third side. Because it essentially deals with midpoints, this theorem is called the midpoint theorem. So, now that we have visualized a property and also written it as a theorem, what's the next logical step? Well, we have already seen that in mathematics, visualizations find purpose only when they are proved mathematically. Going by that, this theorem would be applicable only if we can prove it mathematically. So let's get the ball rolling for that. How do we prove a theorem? We first illustrate whatever is given and then work to arrive at whatever needs to be proved. So here, the given part is that there's a line segment that joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. So let's illustrate this by taking a triangle. It could be any triangle of your choice and name it A, B, C. Now, let's mark the midpoints of any two of its sides. Say AB and AC and name them D and E respectively. Now, on joining D and E, we get the required line segment, namely DE. The given part is illustrated successfully. We just need to prove that DE is parallel to the third side BC and also that it measures half the length of BC. So, first things first, how do we prove that DE is parallel to BC? Well, one way could be by proving that these two angles are supplementary. That is to say, they add up to 180 degrees. Because if you think about it, DB acts as a transversal to DE and BC. So, these two angles form a pair of co-interior angles. And as you already know, the co-interior angles formed when parallel lines are intersected by a transversal are always supplementary. But the catch is that there's nothing that we know about the angles of this triangle. So we have no means to prove that these two angles are supplementary. We can't prove that DE and BC are parallel using this method. We have to try for a different approach. Well, what if DE and BC were opposite sides of a parallelogram? Wouldn't it be automatically proved that they are parallel? Of course it would. But the problem is the opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Whereas here it is evident that DE is shorter than BC. Also, we would need a side that's parallel to BD to form the parallelogram. Idea. Why not construct a line that's parallel to BD? We can always do that, right? So let's draw a line from point C that is parallel to BD. Now, if we just extend DE such that it meets this newly constructed line at F, we would get what appears to be a parallelogram. Whoa! We are finally getting somewhere. If we can somehow prove that this quadrilateral BDFC is indeed a parallelogram, it would imply that opposite sides DF and BC are parallel. This would automatically prove that DE, which is a part of DF, is also parallel to BC. This seems like a good approach, isn't it? Let's see how far we go with this one. We basically constructed CF parallel to BD or BA meeting extended DE at F, and our attempt is to try and prove that BDFC is a parallelogram. So, which property of parallelogram should we use here? Well, by construction itself, CF is parallel to BD. So, we just need to prove that CF is equal to BD. Remember the condition? A quadrilateral is a parallelogram if one pair of its opposite sides is equal and parallel. So, we should just try to prove that CF is equal to BD. But isn't BD just equal to AD? It indeed is, because D is the midpoint of AB. I'm telling you, if we can just somehow prove that CF is equal to AD, we would have possibly hit the bullseye. So now, how do we prove that CF is equal to AD? Well, observing them actually draws my attention to these two triangles, namely CFE and ADE. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Well, if we can prove that triangles CFE and ADE are congruent, it would automatically imply that CF is equal to AD because they would then be corresponding paths of congruent triangles. Sounds lucrative to me. So essentially, we just need to prove that these two triangles CFE and ADE are congruent. What criterion of congruence do you think would fit here? Well, RHS is obviously not possible since there's no mention of right angle. It's got to be one of the SAS, SSS or ASA. But which one? Let's just use the given information to find out. We can see that in triangles CFE and ADE, angle CEF is equal to angle AED because evidently they are vertically opposite angles. Also, CE is equal to AE because E is the midpoint of AC. So, we have a pair of equal corresponding angles and a pair of equal corresponding sides. If we can find another pair of equal corresponding angles or another pair of equal corresponding sides, our requirement would be met. Now, whatever we know about the sides, we have already used. So, we should try and look for two corresponding angles which are equal. Wait a minute. CF is parallel to BA, right? So, DF acts as a transversal, which means angle CFE is equal to angle ADE because they form a pair of alternate interior angles. Bingo! Angle side angle. We got it. Hold on. I'm interrupting your celebration because there's something that needs your attention. If you observe these two triangles, you will be able to see that the corresponding sides we are comparing are actually not included between the pairs of corresponding angles. So, the criterion of congruence here is actually angle side and not angle side angle. So now, CF is equal to AD because they are corresponding paths of congruent triangles. And since AD is equal to BD, CF is also equal to BD. There you have it. CF is parallel to BD by construction and CF is equal to BD by proof. BDFC is a parallelogram because a pair of its opposite sides are equal and parallel. This just indicates that opposite sides DF and BC are parallel. This further implies that DE, which is a part of DF, is also parallel to BC. We finally got it. Funnily enough, we have just proved the first part of the theorem. Tired? Well, don't worry. I won't take much of your time now because we have already proved the second part of the theorem. Let us see how. We need to show that DE is equal to half BC, right? Now, in parallelogram BDFC, we can see that DF is equal to opposite side BC. Let's name this as equation 1. Now, it's pretty evident that DF is equal to FE plus DE. But in congruent triangles CFE and ADE, we can see that FE is equal to DE because they are corresponding paths of congruent triangles. So, DF is equal to DE plus DE or DF is equal to 2DE. Now, using this information in equation 1, we have 2DE is equal to BC or DE is equal to half BC. There you have it. We finally proved the theorem which says that the line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half the length of the third side. Whoa! I agree that this was a pretty long video, but I am sure it would add to your knowledge bank exponentially. However, we are yet to see if the converse of this theorem holds true. Also, don't you want to know why we studied a property of triangles in a chapter that mostly deals with parallelograms? Don't worry, we'll be exploring all of these in the next couple of videos. For now, just remember that the line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half the length of the third side. It was really nice seeing you today. I'll be waiting for you in the next one. Till then, take care and goodbye.